Amara Davis stared at the crumpled $5 bill in her palm, wondering if desperation had finally broken her completely. "It's legit, girl," her co-worker Shanice insisted, leaning against the hospital breakroom counter. "My cousin used it last Thanksgiving. You just need someone to show up, smile, and pretend you're not dying alone." Amara's mahogany skin flushed warm with embarrassment. 28 years old, a single mother working double shifts as a nurse, and now reduced to hiring a fake boyfriend so her family would stop the pitying looks at Christmas dinner. $5 gets you what?" Amara asked, exhaustion making her voice flat. "A few hours. Someone presentable, no expectations." Shanice slid her phone across the table, the website already loaded. "It's called Holiday Plus One. College kids do it for extra cash." Amara's finger hovered over the request button. Her daughter Zoe's voice echoed in her memory. "Mommy, why doesn't Grandma think you're good enough?" She pressed it. 3 days later, a message appeared. "Request accepted. I'll be there. J.H." What Amara didn't know was that Yoon Ji-hoon wasn't a college student. He was something far more dangerous. The coffee shop in Atlanta's downtown district smelled like cinnamon and espresso, unseasonably warm winter sun streaming through the windows. Amara arrived 15 minutes early, her natural coils pulled back in a neat bun, wearing the only nice sweater she owned. Cream-colored, no stains, miracle of miracles. She'd chosen a public place, obviously. You didn't meet random internet strangers without basic precautions, even if you were pathetically paying them $5 to pretend to like you. Her phone buzzed. "I'm here. Green jacket. Corner booth." Amara's breath caught when she spotted him. The man sitting in the corner wasn't what she expected. At all. He was Korean, probably late 20s or early 30s, with sharp cheekbones and dark eyes that tracked her movement across the room with unnerving precision. Black hair styled back, a lean athletic build evident even beneath his expensive-looking jacket. Something about the way he sat, perfectly still, perfectly controlled, made her pulse quicken for reasons she couldn't name. This man did not look like someone who needed $5. "Amara?" His voice was smooth, accented, dangerous in a way she couldn't define. "That's me." She slid into the booth, suddenly hyper-aware of her worn purse, her chipped nail polish, the gap between his world and hers. "You're J.H.? Ji-hoon. Yoon Ji-hoon." He extended a hand. His grip was firm, warm, brief, professional. "Look, I know this is weird." "It's not weird." His expression remained neutral, but something flickered in his gaze. Amusement, interest. "You need someone for Christmas dinner. I'm available." "For $5, Amara added, shame heating her cheeks. "I'm sorry, I know that's insulting, but it's literally all I... For you, $5 are important." The words landed between them, heavy with understanding she didn't expect. Not pity. Something else. Recognition, maybe. Amara studied him, frowning. "Why would you accept this? You look like..." She gestured vaguely at his designer watch, his tailored clothes. "I mean, no offense, but you clearly don't need the money." Ji-hoon's lips curved slightly. Not quite a smile. "Maybe I need the distraction." "From what?" "Life." He leaned back and she noticed a small tattoo on the left side of his neck, a minimalist tiger design in black ink, barely visible above his collar. "Tell me about your family." "What should I know?" Amara exhaled, accepting the subject change. "My mom is a lot. She's going to ask you 1,000 questions. My aunt will probably try to feed you until you explode. My daughter Zoe is 6, smart as hell, and she'll know immediately if you're faking. I'm good with children." "Yeah?" Amara raised an eyebrow. "You have siblings?" A shadow crossed his features. "A younger brother. He's away right now." The way he said it made Amara drop the subject. "My family is loud," she continued. "We're black, southern, and we don't do quiet. There'll be music, probably someone arguing about politics, definitely someone drinking too much eggnog. If that's not your scene..." "It sounds perfect." Amara blinked. "Really? Really?" Ji-hoon's gaze held hers, intense and oddly sincere. "When is this dinner?" "Christmas Eve, 6 p.m. It's at my mum's place in Decatur." She slid a piece of paper across the table with the address. "You just need to show up, be polite, and pretend we've been dating for like 2 months. Long enough that it's serious, but not weird I haven't mentioned you." Ji-hoon pocketed the address without looking at it. "What's my story? How did we meet?" "Hospital," Amara said quickly. She'd rehearsed this. "You came in for a minor injury. I was your nurse. We clicked. Simple." His eyebrow raised slightly. "What kind of injury? Does it matter?" "Details matter." His voice carried an edge of authority that made her sit straighter. If someone asks, I need to have an answer. Amara felt a flutter of unease. This man was too good at this. Fine, sprained wrist. Basketball game gone wrong. I don't play basketball. Then what do you play? I train in taekwondo. He said it casually, but there was steel underneath. And Muay Thai. But we'll say basketball. Americans understand basketball. The comment hung in the air. Americans. Right. He wasn't from here originally. Are you first generation? Amara asked. Immigrant? Yes. I came to the US when I was 19. His jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. For business opportunities. What kind of business? Import, export. The answer came too smoothly, too practiced. Mostly Korean goods, restaurant supply, specialty items. Amara didn't believe him. She didn't know why she didn't believe him, but every instinct she'd developed working in an emergency room, learning to spot liars, addicts, abusers, was screaming that Yoon Ji-hoon was not what he claimed. But she was also desperate, exhausted, and $5 poorer. Okay, she said slowly. Import, export. Got it. You don't believe me. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Ji-hoon tilted his head, studying her with those dark, penetrating eyes. You're perceptive. That's good. It means you're smart enough to survive. Survive what? Life. That almost smile again. Tell me about your daughter. The shift was deliberate, pulling them away from dangerous territory. Amara allowed it, her expression softening. Zoe is everything. She's the reason I breathe. Smart, funny, asks a million questions I can't answer. She wants to be a scientist, or a princess, or a scientist princess. A scientist princess sounds efficient. There was warmth in his voice now, genuine warmth that surprised her. She'll love Christmas. She deserves a good one. Amara's throat tightened. This year has been rough. Her dad isn't in the picture. Hasn't been since she was born. Money's tight. My family means well, but they make me feel like I'm failing. You're not failing. The certainty in his voice made her look up sharply. You work double shifts, Ji-hoon continued, his gaze unwavering. You provide for your child alone. You protect her from a world that would break her if you weren't standing in the way. That's not failure, that's strength. Amara's eyes stung. She blinked rapidly, refusing to cry in front of this stranger, who somehow saw her more clearly than her own family. Thank you, she whispered. Ji-hoon stood buttoning his jacket. The movement was graceful, controlled, like a predator preparing to hunt. I'll be there Christmas Eve, 6 p.m. I won't be late. Wait, do you need my number in case something comes up? He rattled off her phone number from memory. Amara froze. How did you... I didn't give you that. It was on the website request. His expression remained neutral, but she saw calculation behind his eyes. I have a good memory. That wasn't how the website worked. She knew it wasn't. But Ji-hoon was already walking away, moving through the coffee shop like water, like smoke, like something that didn't want to be seen. Amara sat alone in the booth, her heart hammering against her ribs. What had she just done? Christmas Eve arrived with unseasonably warm weather, and Amara's anxiety at an all-time high. Mommy, is your boyfriend really coming? Zoe bounced on the couch, wearing her favorite red dress with candy canes embroidered on the hem. Her natural hair was styled in 2 perfect puffs, courtesy of 3 hours of Amara's work the night before. He's coming, baby. Amara checked her phone for the 15th time. 5:47 p.m. No messages. What if he didn't show? What if this whole thing had been a scam and she'd wasted $5 and her pride for nothing? The doorbell rang. Amara's heart stopped. Through the peephole, she saw him. Yoon Ji-hoon, wearing a white button-down shirt with 4 buttons casually undone, black slacks that probably cost more than her rent, and an expression of perfect calm. The tiger tattoo on his neck was visible, striking against his skin. He held a bottle of wine and a wrapped present. Amara opened the door, momentarily speechless. Hi, Ji-hoon said softly, his dark eyes warming when they landed on her. She'd worn her natural coils down tonight, her amber-brown skin glowing against a deep green dress she'd borrowed from Shanice. His gaze traveled over her slowly, appreciatively. You look beautiful. It sounded real. God help her. It sounded completely real. You came, she breathed. I said I would. He stepped inside, then crouched down to Zoe's level. You must be the scientist princess. Zoe giggled, suddenly shy. Mommy told you about me? She did. She said you're the smartest person she knows. Ji-hoon offered the present. This is for you, Merry Christmas. Zoe looked at Amara for permission. At her nod, the little girl tore into the wrapping, gasping when she revealed a children's science kit, the expensive kind, with a real microscope and slides. "How did you know?" Amara whispered. Jihoon stood, his shoulder brushing hers. "You said she wants to be a scientist. I listened." Before Amara could respond, her mother's voice boomed from the kitchen. "Amara Nicole Davis? Is that him? Bring that man in here right now." Jihoon's lips twitched. "That's my cue." The house was chaos incarnated. Amara's mother, Patricia, descended on Jihoon like a hurricane in a Christmas sweater, her deep umber skin creased with laugh lines and suspicion in equal measure. "So you're the mystery man my daughter's been hiding." "Yoon Jihoon, ma'am." He bowed slightly, a gesture so naturally respectful that Patricia's expression immediately softened. "Thank you for welcoming me into your home." "Lord have mercy, he's polite and pretty," Aunt Cheryl announced from the dining room, fanning herself dramatically. Her caramel-toned face split into a wide grin. "Girl, where did you find him?" "At work," Amara lied smoothly, her hand finding Jihoon's. His fingers laced through hers without hesitation, his palm warm and steady. "He came in with a basketball injury." "Basketball?" Her cousin Marcus perked up from the couch. "Man you play, what position?" "Guard," Jihoon answered without missing a beat. "But I'm better at defense than offense." Marcus launched into an enthusiastic discussion about the Hawks' season, while Amara's teenage cousin Destiny filmed everything on her phone, whispering urgently to her friends. "Y'all, he looks like he walked out of a K-drama. I'm not even playing." Jihoon handled it all with remarkable grace. He complimented Patricia's cooking with genuine appreciation, speaking knowledgeably about the collard greens, mac and cheese, and candied yams that covered the table. He let Uncle Ray interrogate him about his business while giving vague but confident answers. He played with Zoe and the other children, patient and attentive in a way that made Amara's chest ache, but it was when dinner was served that things shifted. "So, Jihoon," Patricia began, her tone deceptively casual as she passed the ham, "what are your intentions with my daughter?" The table fell silent. Jihoon set down his fork, his gaze finding Amara's across the table. Something passed between them, a current of understanding of something deeper than their fake arrangement should allow. "My intention," he said slowly, his accent thickening slightly with emotion, "is to make sure she never doubts her worth again." Amara's breath caught. "Because she's extraordinary," Jihoon continued, his eyes never leaving hers. "She works herself to exhaustion for her daughter. She gives everything and asks for nothing. She's strong and beautiful and deserves someone who sees that. I see that." The silence stretched. Then Aunt Cheryl started crying. "Baby, you better lock that down." Patricia nodded slowly, something like approval in her eyes. "All right then." After dinner, Amara escaped to the back porch, overwhelmed. The December night was mild, cicadas singing in the darkness. She'd almost convinced herself she was alone when Jihoon's voice came from behind her. "You're hiding." "I'm breathing." She turned to face him, wrapping her arms around herself. "That was a lot. Your family loves you." He stepped closer, and she caught his scent, something expensive and masculine that made her knees weak. "They want you to be happy. I hired you to pretend." Her voice cracked. "But you made it real." "Why?" Jihoon's jaw tightened. "Because you deserve real. You don't even know me. I know enough." His hand lifted, hovering near her face before dropping back to his side. The restraint in the gesture spoke volumes. "I know you bite your lip when you're nervous. I know you touch your daughter's hair to ground yourself. I know you're terrified of being seen as weak, so you work yourself to death, proving you're strong. I know—" "Stop." Amara's chest heaved. "Please stop." "Why?" "Because this ends tomorrow." Her eyes stung with tears she refused to shed. "You got your $5 worth of entertainment. You go back to your life, I go back to mine, and we forget this ever happened." Jihoon moved closer, crowding her against the porch railing. Not threatening, never threatening, but intense in a way that made her pulse thunder in her ears. "What if I don't want to forget?" His voice dropped to a rough whisper. "Then you're crazy." But she didn't pull away. Couldn't pull away. Maybe. His thumb brushed her cheek, catching a tear she hadn't realized had fallen. "Or maybe meeting you was the first sane thing I've done in years." The back door slammed open. "Amara, you're— Oh!" Destiny froze, phone raised. "Sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt the moment." Jihoon stepped back smoothly, his expression shuddering. But his hand found Amara's again, squeezing once before releasing. Inside, Marcus was showing everyone a viral video on his phone. Amara barely registered it until she heard the word that made her blood run cold. Korean Mafia in Atlanta. Cops are saying they've been operating underground for months. Look at this guy's tattoo. The image on the screen showed a police sketch. A man with a tiger tattoo on his neck. Amara couldn't breathe. The police sketch on Marcus's phone wasn't perfect, but it was close enough. Tiger tattoo. Sharp features. The word dangerous printed in bold beneath the image. Her eyes found Jihoon across the room. He'd gone completely still, his gaze locked on the phone screen. Then, slowly, his attention shifted to her. In that moment, she saw it. The calculation, the danger, the truth she'd been too desperate to acknowledge. He wasn't import-export. He was exactly what that sketch suggested. Yo, imagine running into that dude. Marcus laughed, scrolling past the image. They're saying he's some kind of crime boss, Korean mob operating out of Koreatown. Wild, right? Terrifying. Amara managed, her voice barely steady. She stood abruptly. I need some air. She walked toward the front door, her pulse hammering. Behind her she heard Jihoon make polite excuses, his footsteps following hers into the December night. The street was quiet, residential, lined with houses draped in Christmas lights. Amara made it 3 houses down before she whirled on him. Tell me I'm wrong. Her voice shook with fury and fear. Tell me that sketch wasn't you. Jihoon's expression revealed nothing. Would you believe me if I did? So it's true. She pressed her palms against her eyes, laughing bitterly. I brought a crime boss to my mother's Christmas dinner. I let you play with my daughter. God, I'm so stupid. You're not stupid. Then what am I? She dropped her hands, glaring at him through tears. What do you call someone who invites danger into her life for $5? Desperate. His voice gentled. Human. Doing what you had to for your family. Don't. She backed away when he stepped closer. Don't try to make this okay. You lied to me. I didn't lie. Jihoon's jaw clenched. I just didn't tell you everything. That's the same thing. Is it? His eyes flashed. You didn't ask what I did. You needed someone to show up and play a role. I played it. But She gestured wildly. You're dangerous. The police are looking for you. What if someone recognizes you? What if they trace you here? My daughter is inside that house. The words hit him like a physical blow. His control cracked, something raw and wounded bleeding through. I would never let anything happen to Zoe, or to you. I would die first. Why should I believe that? Because it's true. He moved closer, and she let him, hating herself for it. Yes, I'm what you think I am. Yes, I've done things I'm not proud of. But tonight, being with you, with your family, with Zoe, his voice roughened. Tonight I remembered what it feels like to be human, to want something beyond survival and power. You gave me that. You. Amara's chest ached. I can't be part of your world. I'm not asking you to be. Then what are you asking? For a chance. He cupped her face with both hands, his touch impossibly gentle for someone allegedly so dangerous. One chance to prove I'm more than what that sketch says I am. Jihoon. A black SUV rounded the corner, moving too slowly, too deliberately. Jihoon's entire demeanor shifted in an instant. He pushed Amara behind him, his body a shield, one hand reaching behind his back where, Jesus Christ, was that a gun? Get inside, he ordered, his voice cold steel. Now. What's happening? Amara, please. His eyes met hers, urgent and fierce. Go. Protect Zoe. I'll handle this. The SUV stopped. Amara's legs wouldn't move. She watched, frozen, as the back door opened and an elderly Korean woman emerged, muttering rapid-fire Korean and wielding a wooden spoon. Jihoon's weapon disappeared. His shoulders sagged. Halmeoni, the woman, barely 5 feet tall, wearing a traditional hanbok and Nike sneakers, grey hair pulled into a severe bun, marched toward them with terrifying purpose. She took one look at Amara and burst into a wide smile. Aigu! She grabbed Amara's hands, examining her like precious merchandise. Pretty, strong, good hips for babies. Halmeoni, Jihoon groaned, switching to English. Stop. You stop. The grandmother smacked his arm with the spoon. You disappear for Christmas, no call, no text. Your cousin Minseok tracked your phone. I think you are dead. Instead, you are here. She gestured at Amara's mother's house. With her, with family, finally acting like human. Amara blinked. I'm sorry, who? I am Halmeoni Ryu, his grandmother. The old woman beamed. You are girlfriend? We're not. She hired me, Jihoon interrupted, his jaw tight with embarrassment. For $5, to pretend to be her boyfriend at Christmas dinner. Halmioni's expression went through several emotions in rapid succession: confusion, understanding, delight. $5. She looked at Amara with new respect. Smart girl. Get expensive man for cheap price. Then she smacked Jihoon again. And you accept $5? You are billion-dollar empire, you take $5 from struggling mother. She didn't know who I was, Jihoon defended. I didn't want to scare her. Instead, you make her fall in love with you on sale price. This is better. Halmioni grabbed Amara's hand again. Come, we meet family. They will love you. Wait, Amara tried to pull back. I don't understand what's happening. Another figure emerged from the SUV. A younger Korean man, mid-20s, with bleached hair and an expression of pure amusement. Young, you got caught fake dating for $5? This is the best Christmas ever. Shut up, Min-seok, Jihoon muttered. Can't shut up. This is gold. Min-seok bowed dramatically to Amara. I'm the fun cousin. He's the scary one. You already know that, though. A woman in her 50s stepped out next, elegant in a designer coat. Jihoona, why didn't you tell us you were seeing someone? Her English was perfect, her smile knowing. We would have prepared properly. Aunt Hannah, this isn't... Oh, it is something. Hannah studied Amara thoughtfully. She has kind eyes. And you look at her like she's oxygen. Don't think I don't see it. Everyone needs to leave, Jihoon said through gritted teeth. Now. But the front door of Patricia's house opened. Amara's mother stood on the porch taking in the scene. 3 Korean strangers, an SUV, her daughter looking shell-shocked, and Jihoon looking like he wanted the earth to swallow him. Amara Nicole, Patricia called out, her voice carrying that particular tone that meant someone was in trouble. You want to explain why there's the entire Korean family on our street? Halmioni lit up. You are mother? I am grandmother. We should talk about wedding. Wedding! Amara and Jihoon shouted simultaneously. This was a disaster, an absolute, complete disaster. And yet, watching Halmioni march toward Patricia with determination, watching Min-seok film the whole thing while laughing, watching Jihoon press his fingers to his temples like he had a migraine, Amara felt something unexpected. She felt like laughing. What followed could only be described as beautiful chaos. Halmioni and Patricia immediately bonded over mutual exasperation with their respective family members. Within 15 minutes, they were sharing embarrassing childhood stories, while Aunt Hannah and Aunt Cheryl discovered a mutual love of K-dramas. Min-seok was teaching the cousins Korean curse words, much to everyone's horror and delight, and Jihoon sat on the couch next to Amara, looking like a man watching his carefully constructed walls crumble in real time. Your grandmother seems intense, Amara ventured. She's a nightmare, but his voice held affection. She raised me and my brother after our parents died. She's the only person in the world I'm genuinely afraid of. Not the police, not rival gangs. His lips twitched. They're less scary than Halmioni with a wooden spoon. Despite everything, despite the danger, the lies, the absolute insanity of this situation, Amara laughed. Really laughed. The sound surprised her. Jihoon turned to look at her fully, his dark eyes soft. There it is. What? Your real smile. I've been waiting for that all night. His hand found hers on the couch cushion between them, their fingers tangling. I'm sorry. For lying. For the danger. For all of it. Are you really a crime boss? Yes. No hesitation. No justification. Should I be terrified? Probably. His thumb stroked the back of her hand. But I promise you, I swear on everything I have, I will never let that world touch you or Zoe. You're separate. Safe. Sacred. The word hung between them. Sacred. Jihoon. She wanted to protest, to be sensible, to protect herself, but his touch made her skin hum. His presence made her feel seen in a way she'd never experienced. This is crazy. Completely insane, he agreed. We don't make sense. Not at all. You're dangerous. Extremely. I have a daughter to think about. I know. His voice roughened. And I think about her, too. About making sure she grows up safe. About giving her everything she deserves. About... He stopped, jaw clenching. I'm getting ahead of myself. What were you going to say? About being someone she could be proud of. His eyes met hers, vulnerable in a way that stole her breath. About being someone you could be proud of. Amara's heart cracked open. Jihoon! Mommy! Zoe ran over, climbing into Amara's lap. She looked at Jihoon with big, serious eyes. The grandma lady says you're going to marry us, are you? Jihoon didn't look away from Amara. Would you like that? Maybe. Zoe considered this carefully. Do you promise to be nice to Mommy? She works really hard and gets sad sometimes. You can't make her sad. I promise." His voice was solemn, like he was taking a sacred vow. "I'll do everything I can to make her happy." "Okay." Zoe nodded, satisfied. "You can marry us." "Baby, it doesn't work like that," Amara started. "Actually," Halmione interrupted, appearing with Patricia in tow, both women looking far too pleased with themselves. "It does work like that. We've decided." Amara's stomach dropped. "Decided what?" "You're coming to Christmas brunch tomorrow," Patricia announced. "At Halmione's house, both families. We're going to do this properly." "Do what properly?" "Get to know each other." Halmione smiled sweetly, too sweetly. "Before wedding." "There's no wedding," Amara protested. "Not yet," Aunt Hannah agreed. "But Halmione is never wrong about these things. She knew I'd marry my husband before I did. She predicted Min Seok would fail his driving test 3 times. "That was just common sense," Min Seok interjected. "And she said Jihoon would find his person when he stopped looking. Look at him now." Hannah gestured at Jihoon, who was doing an excellent impression of someone ready to commit murder. "He's looking." Every eye in the room turned to Jihoon. His gaze was fixed on Amara with an intensity that made heat pool in her stomach. Not just desire, though that was definitely there, simmering beneath the surface, but something deeper. Hunger mixed with reverence. Want mixed with wonder. "Yeah," Marcus whispered to Destiny. "That man is gone." The evening devolved into more chaos. Stories were shared. Food was consumed. Min Seok taught Zoe a traditional Korean handshake that devolved into giggles. A younger Korean man, Dae-hyun, Jihoon's 22-year-old brother, arrived late and immediately declared Amara his future sister-in-law, with such enthusiasm that Jihoon threatened to disown him. Through it all, Amara felt like she was watching her life split into 2 paths. The sensible one, where she thanked Jihoon for a lovely evening and never saw him again, and the insane one, where she dove headfirst into whatever this connection was. "You're thinking too hard," Jihoon murmured in her ear, having somehow migrated to stand behind her chair. His breath against her neck made her shiver. "Someone has to think," she shot back. "You've clearly lost your mind. Completely lost it." His hand settled on her shoulder, warm and possessive. "The moment you opened that door tonight." Before she could respond, the doorbell rang. Patricia frowned. "We're not expecting anyone else." Jihoon moved like lightning. 1 second he was beside Amara. The next he was at the door, blocking it with his body. His entire demeanor shifted. The gentle, playful man disappearing, replaced by something cold and lethal. "Stay back," he ordered quietly. Min Seok was instantly at his side, all humor gone. Dae-hyun moved to shield Halmione. Even Aunt Hannah's expression hardened. Amara's blood turned to ice. This was it, the danger she'd feared, the world she couldn't be part of. Jihoon checked the peephole, then his shoulders sagged. "It's a delivery guy." The tension bled from the room. He opened the door to find a nervous teenager holding a massive bouquet of roses. "Delivery for Amara Davis?" Amara blinked. "I didn't order." "I did." Jihoon took the flowers, tipping the kid generously. He brought them to Amara, and she counted them automatically. 2 dozen. Red roses mixed with white. "When did you have time to order these?" "When you were in the bathroom earlier." He crouched in front of her chair, his eyes level with hers. "I wanted you to have something that wasn't fake, something real." Her hands shook as she took the bouquet. Real. God, everything about tonight felt real. "Jihoon!" Glass shattered somewhere in the house. Everyone froze. Then Jihoon's phone buzzed. He checked it, his expression darkening. "We need to leave now." "What's happening?" Patricia demanded. "Someone found me." His eyes met Amara's, urgent and fierce. "And they know I was here." Chaos erupted. Jihoon barked orders in Korean. Min Seok and Dae-hyun moved immediately, checking windows, securing exits. Aunt Hannah ushered the children into an interior room, while Halmione, terrifyingly calm, produced a handgun from her purse. "Halmione carries a gun." Amara's voice pitched high with hysteria. "She's scarier than me," Jihoon muttered, already pulling out his phone. "I need you to listen very carefully. Take Zoe and go to the basement. There's—" "No." Amara stood, her amber-brown skin flushed with anger and fear. "You don't get to order me around in my mother's house. Tell me what's happening. Now." His jaw clenched. "A rival organization tracked my location. They're probably doing surveillance, trying to identify leverage points." "Leverage points?" Patricia's eyes widened with understanding. "They want to hurt the people he cares about. Which means you're all in danger because of me." Jihoon's voice was raw with guilt. I should never have come here. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing and start fixing it, Amara snapped. The terrified nurse in her wanted to hide, but the mother in her was pure steel. What do we do? Jihoon stared at her like she'd grown a second head. You're not running. Where exactly am I supposed to run? This is my mother's house. My daughter is here. You think I'm going to panic? She crossed her arms. I work in an emergency room. I don't do panic. I do action. So give me actions. Something shifted in his expression. Respect, admiration, something else she couldn't name. Min Seok, perimeter check, Jihoon ordered, switching smoothly into crisis mode. Daehyun, get the cars positioned for quick exit. Hana, call the others. I want full security detail here in 10 minutes. His family moved like a military unit, efficient and deadly. Patricia grabbed Amara's arm. Baby, what have you gotten us into? I don't know, Mama, but we're going to get through it. She looked at Jihoon. Right? Right. His voice was a promise and a threat. No one touches this family. No one. The next 20 minutes were the longest of Amara's life. Jihoon's security arrived. Serious Korean men in dark suits who positioned themselves around the house with military precision. Min Seok returned, reporting no immediate threat, just a suspicious car that had driven past 3 times. They're testing our response, Jihoon said grimly. Seeing what kind of protection I've established. So what now? Marcus asked. He'd been remarkably calm through everything, arms crossed, assessing. We just wait for them to make a move? No. Jihoon's expression hardened. I make a move first. He walked outside, standing in the middle of the street under the Christmas lights, completely exposed. Amara's heart stopped. What is he doing? She breathed. Sending a message, Halmione said quietly. He's showing he's not afraid. That he protects what's his. Within minutes, a sleek black car appeared. It stopped 20 feet from Jihoon. A window rolled down, and a voice called out in Korean. Jihoon responded in kind, his tone sharp and authoritative. The conversation was brief, intense. Then he reached into his jacket. Amara tensed and pulled out his phone, showing the screen to whoever was in the car. More Korean. The car's occupants seemed to argue among themselves. Finally, Jihoon stepped back. 보호하는 사람은 절대 건드리지 마. 알았지? His voice carried clearly through the night air. Then, in English, clearly for everyone to hear, touch what's mine, and I'll burn your empire to the ground. The car drove away. Jihoon returned to the house, his face unreadable. The moment he stepped inside, Amara slapped him across the face. The sound echoed through the sudden silence. Don't you ever, she said, her voice shaking with fury and terror, make yourself a target like that again. Don't you dare stand in the street like bait when people with guns are watching. Don't. He kissed her. His hands cupped her face, and he kissed her like she was air and he was drowning, like she was the answer to a question he'd been asking his entire life. Desperate, consuming, reverent. Amara's knees buckled, his arm wrapped around her waist, holding her up, holding her close. She tasted danger and promise, and something that felt terrifyingly like forever. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, the entire room was staring. Well, Aunt Cheryl said into the silence, I guess that's settled. Told you, Halmione said smugly to Patricia. Wedding. Jihoon rested his forehead against Amara's, his eyes closed. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, but I can't pretend this was just a contract. I can't pretend you're just someone I helped for $5. You're... His voice cracked. Neonen name Moden Joya. He switched to English, his accent thick with emotion. So you're my everything. Amara's eyes burned with tears. This is insane. I know. We barely know each other. I know. You're a criminal. I know. His thumb brushed away a tear that had escaped. But I'm also a man who wants to wake up every morning and make you coffee, who wants to help Zoe with her homework, who wants to learn how to braid her hair properly because you showed me last night and I barely understood, but I'll learn. I'll learn everything. I'll... Stop. She pressed her fingers to his lips. Stop talking and let me think. But thinking was impossible with him looking at her like that, like she was precious, like she was everything. You put my family in danger, she said quietly. I did, and I'll spend the rest of my life making sure they're safe. His hands trembled against her face. I have resources, power, money. I can protect them better than anyone, but only if you let me, only if you trust me. Trust a crime boss? She laughed, but it came out choked. That's the worst idea I've ever heard. Then trust a man who's falling in love with you. His voice dropped to a rough whisper. Trust that. The words hung in the air between them. Falling in love. Not fallen. Not loved. Falling. Present continuous. Happening right now, in this moment, in front of her entire family and his. "Mommy?" Zoe's small voice came from the hallway. She'd been watching everything, her big eyes solemn. "Are you sad?" "No, baby." Amara knelt down, opening her arms. Zoe ran into them. "I'm not sad." "Good." Zoe looked at Jihoon seriously. "You made Mommy not sad. You can stay." Jihoon crouched beside them, and Amara watched him look at her daughter with something like wonder. "Thank you," he said softly. "That's the best Christmas present anyone's ever given me." "You're welcome." Zoe patted his cheek. Then, conspiratorially, "Also, I really like the microscope. Despite everything, the danger, the fear, the absolute insanity, everyone laughed." Almione clapped her hands. "Okay, everyone come for brunch tomorrow. We celebrate properly, with food, family, and no more guns." She pointed her wooden spoon at Jihoon. "You bring roses and jewelry and apology." "Almione, I'm not finished." She turned to Amara. "You bring open heart, and this beautiful daughter, and maybe appetite for Korean food." "I don't," Amara started. "Tomorrow," Patricia interrupted, her voice firm but her eyes kind. "We'll deal with tomorrow. Tonight everyone needs to breathe." She looked at Jihoon. "You kept us safe. Thank you." The simple words seemed to undo him. His jaw clenched, and Amara saw the emotion he was fighting. "I'll always keep you safe, all of you, I swear it." "I believe you," Patricia said simply. As the families gradually dispersed, plans made, security arranged, chaos temporarily contained, Jihoon and Amara found themselves alone on the porch again. "So," she said, exhaustion and adrenaline making her voice shake, "worst $5 purchase ever?" "Best." He pulled her close and she let him, her head resting against his chest. His heart thundered beneath her ear. "I came here thinking I was doing you a favor. Turns out you saved me." "From what?" "From forgetting what it feels like to be human." He pressed a kiss to the top of her head. "From living without light." Amara closed her eyes, breathing him in. This was crazy, impossible, dangerous, and yet. "Brunch tomorrow?" she whispered. "Brunch tomorrow," he confirmed. "And the day after that, and the day after that. For as long as you'll have me. That's a long time. I'm counting on it." They stood together under the Christmas lights, a Korean crime boss and a single black mother, holding each other like they could rebuild the world with just their two sets of hands. Maybe they could. Christmas Eve, 1 year later. Amara Davis Yoon stood in the kitchen of their new home in Buckhead, a compromise between Jihoon's desire for fortress-level security and her need for normalcy, watching chaos unfold with a sense of déjà vu. Except this time, the chaos was theirs. Almione was teaching Zoe Korean, while simultaneously arguing with Patricia about the proper way to make kimchi. Min-seok was showing Marcus something on his phone, both of them laughing. Aunt Hannah and Aunt Cheryl were planning a K-drama watching marathon. Dae-hyun was being interrogated by Destiny about Korean skincare routines. Two families, impossibly blended. Jihoon's arms slid around her waist from behind, his chin resting on her shoulder. "Regretting marrying me yet?" She turned in his embrace, her hand instinctively moving to her stomach where their son was growing. 6 months along, and she still couldn't believe it. "Ask me again, when your grandmother and my mother start planning this baby's wedding. They're already discussing it." His eyes were warm, content in a way she'd never seen that first night. Apparently he's going to marry Destiny's future daughter. He's not even born yet. Details. He kissed her softly, thoroughly. "I love you. I love you too." Even after a year, the words felt miraculous. "Even though you're still wanted by the FBI. Technically, I'm a consultant now." He'd gone legitimate 6 months ago. Mostly legitimate anyway. Old habits died hard. And they cleared most of the charges. Most. "I'm working on it." He pressed his hand over hers on her belly. "For him. For Zoe. For you. For us," she corrected. Zoe ran over, wearing a hanbok Almione had made her. "Mommy, Daddy. Almione says it's time for presents." Daddy. She called him Daddy now, unself-consciously, completely. "Come on," Amara said, taking Jihoon's hand. "Our family is waiting." Their family. Worth every risk. Worth everything, even $5.